Welcome to the Adaptive Sheets, Markup Google Sheets spreadsheet tutorial. This video will show you how to set up the settings of this spreadsheet and how to prepare your first professional quote step by step. Before we dive right into the spreadsheet, let's touch upon a few points for those who are new to Google Sheets. With the spreadsheets you will use in Google Sheets, there is an option to use them when you don't have an internet connection. To use tables offline, simply go to the File menu at the top and activate the Make Available Offline option. Synchronization will only occur when devices reconnect to the internet. The best part is, changes you make in your file are automatically backed up to the cloud. If you make a mistake or notice you made an error, don't worry. You can search for the moment the error was made in the File menu at the top and select Version History, then revert to a previous version. And also, if you prefer, you can exit the browser view. With the Install App option in Chrome or Edge browsers on Windows, or the Add to Home Screen option in Safari on iOS, you get a simpler, more useful interface without elements like the address bar taking up space. Now let's make it full screen to focus on content. We've used a small color system within the table to make information easier to follow. This color code is except for the quote format tabs. You can enter data only in cells with a white background. These are your fillable areas. Light blue background cells are special areas where you can add images. The blue background on the left side that you see is our navigation menu. Hidden columns can be found within the navigation menu. This area contains helper formulas. Cells with a green background are places that take you to external links. If the text color is green, it indicates an internal link or a drop-down menu. Remaining cells are either empty or contain formulas. Please do not perform any operations in these parts. If you delete or change these cells, a warning message will appear. You can press the Escape key or click the Cancel button to dismiss it. To remove these protections, navigate to Data, then Protect Sheets and Ranges from the top menu. When adding rows, also pay attention to this. You'll see the Add Below indicator in the side navigation. You need to add rows below this indicator. Adding rows above this indicator can affect the formulas. If you need to add columns, you can add columns to the area on the right side of the tab, after all sections are finished. Now, to start using the table, let's take a look at the User Manual tab. Here you will find several useful links. For example, the link to this tutorial video you are currently watching is here. The FAQ link for frequently asked questions and issues. If you can't find a solution in the frequently asked questions section, the support link is here for requesting technical support via Etsy. We will reply to you within 24 hours. The Contact You link is also here for partnership inquiries or other requests. Right below these links, you'll find the Getting Started Overview section, which briefly summarizes the purpose of each tab. Additionally, there is a link here where you can always access the updated version of the table. You can generate the updated version link based on your currency. Finally, to start using the table, I would like to remind you that you need to accept the terms and conditions located here. After accepting the terms and conditions, now we are ready to personalize our template. You can easily reach the Setup tab by clicking from the bottom tab bar, the menu in the bottom left corner, or the side navigation. In the Setup tab, there are 3 sections where you can adjust your template and an Archive section. Let's take a look. User Settings, Options, Translations, and Archive. We can expand and collapse these sections using the column groups above, depending on the area we are using. First, let's take a look at the Translations section, where you can change many texts in your template according to your own language or preference. This is also divided into 2 parts: Term and Page Translations. In the Terms Translations section, you can set predefined terms or translations for things like statuses, extra charges description, terms and conditions headers, sort order, quote content selection, financial terms, quote terms, footer contents, and warning messages. These are generally organized in small lists. The page translations section is for the translation of terms used in the tabs. The cell addresses where they are used are indicated next to them. If the same term appears in more than one place, it is left blank. You can see the referenced value next to it. Now let's collapse this column group and expand the user settings section to continue. Here we will enter company and user information. There is a checkbox next to each piece of information you enter. By unchecking this box, you can prevent the information from appearing on your quote, even if you have entered it. For the company information section, let's first add our logo. To do this, we have to open Top Menu. You can do it by Escape key. You can follow the path, Insert Image in Cell in the top menu. You can drag and drop your file from your computer or select it. After uploading the logo, all the information I want to note, all the data that I am entering now is fictional. Let's proceed to the company name. Then enter the address line 1, address line 2, and phone number. If you want to put a plus sign at the beginning of your phone number, remember to put an apostrophe before it. Otherwise, Google Sheets will automatically convert it to a formula. You can also enter your email address, website address, tax ID number, brand name, and brand registration or copyright information here. If you haven't registered your brand, using trademark information is also appropriate. Let's move on to adding the information for the people who will prepare quotes. In this section, you can enter information for up to 5 people who will prepare quotes, name of preparer, phone number, email address, title. And if you wish, you can add signature images into the cells. Let's move on to adding payment methods. You can add up to 5 payment methods. You will be able to find several popular payment method icons already in this table. You can copy and paste the icon for the payment method from the bottom section. If the icon you need is not here, or if you want to use your own icon, you can upload it with the Insert Image in Cell option. Finally, in this section, we can enter our social media information. You can enter the account name for the social media channels you will use and copy and paste the relevant icons. These will not appear as links on the quote, only the account name and icon will be displayed. Yes, our company information entry is complete for now. As for the options and archive sections in the Setup tab, we will examine them in more detail after we see how to prepare our first quote. Because when you see the quote preparation process, it will be much easier to understand these settings. For now, I'm opening the footer settings to display them in the quote. After finishing user settings, we can switch back to full screen view. Now, using the side menu, let's switch to the Clients tab and continue by entering client information. Let's create an example client profile. Please note that the information used in this demo is entirely random and does not refer to any real person or entity. Let's enter our client's information. Entering the client's name is required, but you can fill in other details you need. You can enter client information here once and reuse it in your different quotes. After entering the client information, we are moving to the Pricing tab to enter information about the services and products we offer. In the Pricing tab, you can list the standard costs and prices of the services and products you offer. The items here will be accessible for all your quote preparations. However, here is a point you need to be careful about. If you update the price of an item in the pricing list, the value of all your old quotes that use this item will also change. For items with frequently changing prices, you might consider alternative methods, such as using the Project-Specific Items section in the Quote Preparation tab, or switching to a new file periodically. Therefore, I recommend entering items with stable, non-fluctuating prices here. For now, let's enter 2 items as examples: labor and additional work. Now we can proceed to quote preparation, but first, let's set up our preparation template and take a backup. You will see the Template tab. This tab will be used as the template for the quotes we will create. This tab consists of 8 sections. Document and Project Details, the section where general quote information is entered. Project-Specific Items, the section where project-specific costs can be entered. Summary Bar, the information section displaying cost and profit information related to your quote. Data Visualization, the section for checking your quote using charts. Document Line Items, the section for entering group, item, quantity, and profit margins related to your quote. Status, the section displaying the total value of your quote and determining its status. Finalization, the section for setting the quote content style, additional fees, and rates. Totals by item or group, lastly, the section where group or item totals in the quote can be viewed. We will do our quote preparations by copying this tab. Therefore, let's adjust the values that usually remain unchanged in your quotes, such as payment terms, preparer selection, terms and conditions heading and clauses, default quote content style, and the general tax rate. The costs of services and products with fluctuating prices can be recorded in the project-specific items section as a current price list. This is different from the central pricing list. Changes made in the project-specific items list are specific to that quote only and will not affect other quotes. To use in the quote, I'll copy a price list I prepared beforehand into project-specific items now. To avoid disturbing cell formatting during this copy operation, you can paste the data using the Paste Special Values Only option from the right-click menu or its shortcut. Now let's save the changes we've made up to this point. We will create a draft file containing these settings. From the top menu, use the File, Make a Copy option, and you can name this file Template Markup Quote. This draft file will be used as a template when you need to start a new series of quotes or for backup purposes. You won't have to repeat the basic settings and changes you've made so far. We can close the Template Markup Quote window. Now we are ready to prepare our first quote. We have set up the Template tab and taken a backup. Now we will create a copy of this Template tab. Right-click on the Template tab in the bottom tab bar and click Duplicate. Rename the resulting Copy of Template tab to the last 3 digits of your next quote number. For example, if the next number is 1100, the tab name will be 100. If the quote number is less than 100, you don't need to add a leading 0. We can start working in your new quote tab. You can leave fields empty if you don't want them to appear on your quote. In the Document and Project Details section, enter the project name, select the client's name from the drop-down menu, double-click on the Date field to select the quote date from the calendar, and write the project summary or scope. You can write up to 50,000 characters. Row height in the Quote tab automatically adjusts to fit your content. You can select a Terms and Conditions header, and you can write up to 6 clauses for it. Each clause is limited to 100 characters. In the Project-Specific Items section, if you don't want to use items from the Pricing tab in this quote, check the Use Only Project-Specific Items box. The Preparation tab containing a lot of data can sometimes be distracting and cause you to lose focus. If you prefer a simpler view to focus only on quantities, items, and amounts, you can collapse the grouped columns. Now let's enter an example project's items. Each value you enter in the Group column starts a new item group. Items should not be entered on rows with a group name. If you write a group name and an item on the same row, a warning message will appear above. When adding items, you can double-click on the cell or type to select from the drop-down list that appears. If you want to paste data over cells where items are entered, use the Paste Special Values Only method. After completing the entry of the items and quantities, let's enter your profit margins. Each item's profit margin is the sum of the base profit and the item's specific profit. Unit prices are then calculated automatically using your unit cost and this total profit margin. This method gives you flexibility. You can enter a collective profit margin for all items, or make adjustments, increases and decreases to the profit margin for each individual item. The values you enter as profit margins will be divided by 100 for calculations. When entering values in percentage fields like tax rate or discount rate, keep this in mind. There is a rounding setting in the Setup tab to use in unit price calculations. I will cover this in the explanation of the Options section in the Setup tab. After entering your profit margins, we can expand column groups. We proceed to the final adjustments in the Finalization section. Select how your quote will be displayed. Options like Group with Items. If you have additional prices, enter information like discount definition and rate, extra charges description, extra charge price. You can check the box if the extra charge is not taxable. You can also enter the tax ratio and if any previous balance. If the previous balance section is left blank, the phrase total due will appear on your quote instead of balance due. Finally, quickly check the overall status of your quote from the values and charts at the top. You can add or delete rows below the Add Below line. Be careful when deleting rows, as data in the project-specific items and document line items sections may be deleted together. After confirming the values, we are ready to move to the Quote tab to see your quote output. To convert the quote we prepared into the format we will send to the client, all we need to do is select the serial number of the quote you prepared from cell M8. There are two different quote designs in this spreadsheet. We refer to these designs as classic and colored. Let's continue with the colored design. In these tabs, we do not interfere with any cells other than this one. If the quote you prepared is not appearing in the drop-down menu, the reason is that specifying the first quote number is mandatory in this table. You may need to adjust the quotation's start number value in the Options section of the Setup tab. The quote format generally consists of 6 main parts. Let's take a look. The area containing your information at the top, immediately below it the section containing client and project information, then the section listing your items and quantities. Next is the section containing payment methods and terms and conditions. The fifth part is the grand total and approval signature section. And sixth and last, the footer section. To download your quote, simply click the File, Download PDF document in the top menu. You have completed your first quote. If you wish, you can also change the colors in the quote design. To change the colors to your preferred colors or your corporate brand colors, click on the corner where the column letters and row numbers intersect to select all cells. Then, follow the Format, Conditional Formatting path. From the conditional formatting rules that open on the right, you can select and change the colors you want. For example, we can change the yellow ones to light green. Since we have seen the quote preparation and output, now we can return to the Setup tab to examine the Options and Archive sections in more detail. Quote tabs do not have side navigation. You need to switch using the tab bar. In the Options section, you will find various settings that you can change in the quote format. When adjusting quote options, I bring the Quote tab to a side screen to see the changes simultaneously. You can do this by opening two browser windows side by side. Let's take a look here. You can adjust the items to be displayed, display units, display payment methods, display approval signature field, highlight discount amount. The minimum rows for single-page setting determines the position of the last row when there are few items. Footer options are available: display business message, display footer, left, center, right footer content. Document type and number settings are also here. In the document type, you enter the name of the document you will create, like estimation, quotation, pro forma invoice. The quotation serial and quotation start number together form your quote number. For example, if your quote numbers will proceed as E2025-1100 then 1101, you write E2025-1 in the quotation serial section. And in the quotation start number, you enter the last 3 digits of the first quotation serial, which is 100. Because the quotation serial has changed, you'll need to reselect the serial number in the Quote tab. Each spreadsheet can prepare up to 126 quotes, but for performance, it is recommended to switch to a new file after 100 quotes. Quote regional document settings are also here. You can adjust the date format that appears on the quote, the position of the percentage sign before or after the value, and the local tax rate. Since our quote settings are complete, I'm closing the quote display. You can also select the unit price rounding method. You can test different values in the test number field. RS is a custom method we created that rounds based on the number of digits. Under Interface Options, you can change the names of the side navigation shortcuts. To do this, click on the pencil icon after hovering over the link you want to change. After changing the link name, click the Apply button. You can also select which quote design will be linked from the side navigation menu. For those using this spreadsheet on a tablet or phone in dark mode, you can adjust the corner colors of sections to match the dark mode. Below this, there is also a table containing quote footer and tab icons. You can change these icons here. Since the adjustments in the Options section are complete, we can collapse this section. Now we can proceed to the last section in the Setup tab, which is Archive. The purpose of the Archive section is not to access all quote information, but to enable your old quotes to be analyzed in the dashboard and to be easily found by quote number. I will now copy a list I prepared beforehand into the Archive section to better explain the Dashboard tab to you. In the future, when you transition to new spreadsheet files, you will also add quotes from your old files to the Archive list in this way. To avoid clutter in the tab bar, you can hide tabs that are not actively used or are completed quotes. For example, we can hide the quote and user manual tabs that we won't be using. You can access other hidden tabs again from the bottom left menu. Yes, now we can move to the Dashboard tab. This is where you can analyze all the quotes you have prepared in the current file and those you have archived from old files. It consists of 4 main parts: Summary, Chart View, Table View, and Filter options. At the top, you will find summary information such as the total value of submitted quotes, the reporting period, the number of quotes being displayed, the number of clients, and the number of projects. Below of the summary section 2 charts are available. You can view these by project, company, client, status, or preparer. The chart on the left is a pie chart based on the total amount, and the one on the right is a trend showing stack chart by month. It shows up to 13 months. Below this is the list of quotes displayed in the chart, and it has a sorting feature. Filter Options section is located next to the table view. It allows you to filter the quotes being displayed. You activate the filter by checking the filter box. The filtering options are words in the project name, company, client, preparer, date range when quotes were prepared, and status. In the status filter, you can select multiple options. The option to include archived quotes is the checkbox at the bottom. This checkbox works only when the top filter box is checked, and it adds archived quotes to the list when selected. Yes, in this video, we have seen how to use the Adaptive Sheets markup quote from start to finish. I hope this tutorial guides you when you start using the table and answers all your questions. The video about switching to a new file and archiving can be found in the description. I would like to remind you that you can find helpful links for any issues or questions you may experience while using the table in the user manual section. If you liked this video and found the table useful for your work, you can support us by liking this video. Your support helps us create more useful tools like this, and it's invaluable for independent creators like us. Thank you.